everybody, my name is B. Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about how my K-pop year 2025 has been going so far. I'm also going to talk a little bit about 2009 because I'm currently experiencing like two K-pop years at the same time. It's both 2025 as well as 2009 for me. Let's start. So, 2025 trends. We're going to start with this because the trends really impacted a lot of the other areas. The thing is, I have two issues when it comes to trends that are currently popular. On the one hand, we have trends that are popular within K-pop. The Y2K sound, the UK garage sound that New Jeans popularized, which I don't like. And I have never liked, even when that wasn't a thing in K-pop and only the original songs from the year 2000 or around the year 2000 existed that sounded like this. Even then, I didn't like those releases. So this trend coming back and being kind of put through the Instagram filter on top of that, where everything is a lot more polished than it originally was, is not helping. But even more than that, there are currently music industry-wide changes, worldwide changes, that happened because of the influence that streaming services have and certain platforms like TikTok have, which lead to songs getting shorter and a lot more repetitive that I just can't stand. And if you combine these two things, the repetitiveness, the short songs, the fact that a lot of songs nowadays only feel like they're made for that one particular highlight part, and then they have a couple sections in between that almost sound like elevator music because what they really want is to get you back to that highlight part as fast as possible. So they're able to repeat it 5 times within 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's just not music that works for me. And that is why I'm having a hard time, because a lot of groups are currently making music in accordance to those trends, and it's not been working out well for me. You're going to see that in a couple seconds when we talk about music more specifically. So yeah, in conclusion, as far as trends are concerned, I've been really dissatisfied. As far as Song of the Year is concerned, I have exactly one contender for that title as of right now, and that is Lisa featuring Ray and Doja Cat, Born Again. There's a 10-minute long review already on my channel, so to not repeat myself, what I'm primarily really impressed by when it comes to this particular song is how well the features are integrated. It's not uncommon within K-pop that you feature an artist and that particular artist gets like a, I don't know, third rap verse or something like that, that you can leave in, yes, but you can just as easily cut it out again and it won't disrupt the flow of the song at all. I understand why collaborations often work like that. Obviously, I don't know, Megan Thee Stallion is not going to perform Strategy with Twice on Inkigayo. That is not feasible, so to have features that you can easily cut from a song obviously is beneficial when it comes to performing the songs, but as far as the song and the song's integrity is concerned, it does mean the element is somewhat superfluous oftentimes, and I don't really like that. So what I am so incredibly enamored by when it comes to Born Again is that every single part of this song, every single person partaking in it is actually vital to the song, and you cannot simply take them out without ruining the song's structure, the way it's built, what it has to say, the themes they included. It's brilliant, and I love that. Album of the Year, I don't have a contender for that, actually. It's kind of sad to have to say this, but truthfully, the only releases that I have liked in their entirety, it's one album. It's Jaejoong's Beauty and Chaos. I really, really love that album, but it is an EP, it's a mini, and that is not enough to qualify for Album of the Year for me personally. I want a little bit more substance to an Album of the Year than a mini could ever provide. So yes, Beauty and Chaos is my favorite album by far, and I really, really love it, but it doesn't really fit what I want an Album of the Year to be. And outside of it, I have just genuinely not liked a single release to the extent that I would be able to put it here, so I don't have one. Debuts. Yeah, I actually don't have a favorite one either. And that is because I have actually actively disliked pretty much every single debut I've come across. Wow, that sounds so sad, but it is the truth. The problem lies within the fact that a lot of the trends that are currently popular are just trends that I don't like. And a lot of debuts obviously follow trends. They want to be trendy, they want to be what people are looking for. Because obviously, why would you make yourself have a harder start than you need to have, right? Especially if you're from a smaller company where you don't necessarily get a second chance. I do understand that reasoning, but it does mean because I dislike the current trends, I dislike the current debuts. And personally, my best bet was probably Hearts to Hearts, but they're basically doing the, I don't know, 101st iteration of New Jeans. At least that's what it feels like to me as someone who just really doesn't like the sound. I know there are minute differences between the releases and they have their own identity. And yes, and it doesn't change the fact that my dislike is so strong that it overshadows that and I just see it as a massive blob. So that hasn't really worked well for me. Yeah, it's been kind of depressing a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I've not been depressed by this fact, but it is kind of sad to say once you think about it. So now we're getting to K-pop in 2025, and oh, I had so much fun with it. My big discovery, which is still spilling over from last year, is definitely the original lineup TVXQ and all the different projects and iterations that stem from that particular group. And there's the 2009 music too. Most of the big releases I did know about already, but it's just been really nice to have a dedicated time set aside to go back to them. It's a little bit like those themed school days, you know, where you dress up as a Disney character or something like that. And on top of that, I still discovered a lot of new fun stuff from 2009 too. Auto-tune is starting to become really popular in 2009 because for the first time people are able to do that to that extent and they want to play around with it, and I don't really like that sound too much, but the early explorations do lead to some of K-pop's most K-pop sounding songs that we ever got, and that's just fun. Plus, during this era, autotune is kind of automatically coupled with like fun campy concepts and outfits, and I love that. Song of the year is definitely Genie. Genie is my favorite K-pop song ever. This is absolutely a no-brainer. I don't really think that anything could beat it, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, Genie. Definitely Genie. For album of the year, I actually have one contender, and that's Fly to the Sky's Decennium. It's not a very strong contender, but it is one nonetheless. And while I don't love the entire album sonically, it's more like 50-50. I do like the album's idea, the paying homage to their decade of releasing music. That is exactly what I'm looking for when I'm talking about album of the year. For debuts, we have After School, and I was so incredibly positively surprised by them. I kind of mixed them up in my mind with Tiara, which I do not like Tiara because Tiara is way too repetitive for me, and I kind of assumed After School was exactly like them, which they are not, so that was a really pleasant surprise. Their debut is actually really catchy, and honestly the biggest surprise was Kai, like looking into her, seeing this background dancer debuting as an idol who's clearly so skilled and who has like this awesome stage presence right from the start. It was just awesome. It was fun. I wish we got more of that. But even beyond what I've just pointed out, there are a lot of releases I enjoyed. IU's Growing Up, Shiny's Juliet, and Pearl's Maze are just a couple examples. And that's obviously not taking into account all of the upcoming amazing moments and releases I'm already aware of, like Brown Eyed Girls is going to drop Abracadabra, Shiny is going to release Ring Ding Dong, and FX is going to debut in the second half of 2009. I already know that, and that is just so amazing to look forward to. And honestly, on first glance, I feel like this is kind of counterintuitive because not only does 2009 also feature a trend that I don't really like, but they had a lot fewer releases in 2009 compared to 2025. No matter which side you take in regards to the K-pop is oversaturated debate, personally, I think it's fair to be of either or opinion. It is a fact that 2009 only had a fraction of this year's releases, and I'm still enjoying a lot more 2009 releases just in hard numbers, so the percentage is even higher, and I think that's kind of very interesting. As far as fandom related observations go, the K-pop fandom in general has been really exhausting. I'm personally into K-pop for the music and not really the social aspects, so my interaction with the overall fandom is pretty minimal, and I'm practically never aware of a lot of the controversies that are going on because I don't consume K-pop that way. This year it's been pretty hard to miss some of them though, which wasn't all that great if I'm being honest. And what's even less nice is the overall mood I feel like the fandom's been in. A lot of people are very sad, a lot of people are exhausted, some seem even desperate, and it's just been very, very negative, which taking into consideration all that's been going on, it is more than fair to feel like that, but it doesn't change the fact that whenever people start becoming really burnt out and very negative around you, that affects your own enjoyment no matter how much you try to shield from it, so that's just not been great. My own personal niche has also been a little bit exhausting if I'm being honest. The only fandom I am somewhat consistently active in is Shinies, and the mood there has just not been great either. I'm not on any of those toxic platforms. I mainly use Discord to communicate, but the thing is, when some issues become just very, very big, they tend to spill over even into those more protected areas. And Shinies had some bigger issues going on for a while now, and I honestly don't see them getting resolved. Not to bore you with like in-fandom details, but the root of the problem is mainly that Onyu and Taemin have left SM Entertainment and the like subsequent obvious fracturing into sub-fandoms which are never satisfied with each other. And on top of that, we also got confirmation that some like legal corporate issues have definitively stood in the way of us getting more shiny content, and I do understand that that's just a corporate reality. It just doesn't feel great. Collecting. My absolute highlight that has to do with 2025 releases specifically is definitely getting a dedicated Jonghyun album version, but I have also seen a lot of creativity in general when it comes to album designs in 2025. There's the like Seashell album NMIX did, and Say My Name has this like really adorable cat mascot. There's just been some really innovative and some really cute stuff. I did not collect a lot of things that were released in 2025, obviously, so I'm not as personally affected by that, but it's still interesting and nice to notice. As far as collecting in 2025, not collecting specifically releases from 2025 has gone, it's honestly, it's been going amazing for me so far. I got really lucky in the beginning of the year. I managed to find a couple TVXQ bundle deals that were a fantastic start to collecting them. I also found some items that I've been looking for ages. Like I finally got a Hush album. I looked for that for I think 4 years or something like that. I'm still over the moon that I managed to get that, and I even got my hands on another first gen album, which I would really love to have at least a small part of my collection actually be a first generation collection, so that's just been really nice. I did notice that my interest in photo cards has declined a little bit. I think that's mainly because a lot of the cards I actually would like to collect are older second gen photo cards, which are just not that easy to get where I'm from. But I started changing my binders around in ways that fit me better personally, viewing them more as a like holistic project and experience rather than just keeping my collection safe. I've been enjoying that process of trying to figure out how to actually customize them more a lot. So overall, I think collecting is still very much going well for me this year. Some other fun stuff that happened in 2025 that I really enjoy is, there are actually two things. Number one is Kpop I. No, I don't really like their music, but I like their performances. I like the little moments that are tied to their music. I like the excitement and joy I get from watching them perform a song like Gnarly. Their facial expressions are so good. It's just so fun to watch them dance. So while they certainly aren't a group I listen to, I'm incredibly glad that they exist and that I can experience them every once in a while. It's like a nice treat that pops up periodically where I'm like, oh, they did something else. That's been really fun. Like the Gabriella music video, for example, as well. The song wasn't for me. I personally found it boring, but I love the music video. I think they're great. You know, the fact that they exist and that they do what they do is great, and I love checking in every once in a while. The second thing I really loved was the K-pop Demon Hunters Netflix movie. I wasn't even aware that that was a thing that was happening. I just got the recommendation someday and it looked interesting, so I watched it. And it was so fun. The story is a bit typical, so not a lot of surprises there, but the way the movie was made, you can clearly tell a lot of love and care went into making it. The art style is so colorful and fun. They even do a lot of anime-like reactions, which were adorable. I also really loved the soundtrack. My favorite line was actually the Rambo line and how it's done, because my mind immediately went to Blackpink and I was like, yep, this is entirely accurate right from the start. This is a K-pop movie, that's a K-pop group, alright. And in hindsight, it's even funnier. I only found out that Teddy was involved in the soundtrack after watching the movie, and it seems he's incapable of releasing a body of work without a line like that, and just, I had a good laugh about it. I really did find that amusing. Overall, you can really tell that the creators cared about K-pop. Yes, they make fun and stereotype everything a little bit, but it's so clear that it comes from a place of love and intimate, detailed knowledge rather than trying to mock it, and it extends beyond that too. My personal knowledge of Korean culture, history, and language is rather limited, but there were a couple things even I caught immediately, and other fun little Easter eggs I later realized were put into the movie when I started looking everything up further. They put so much thought into things like historical clothing, some of the names, the types of demons, you know, the way they stem from folk tales and other things like that. And they poke a bit of good-natured fun at K-dramas too. Not to spoil things, but there's a scene where the Huntrix girls meet the Saja boys, and it's staged exactly like a K-drama, except the Saja boys are demons, and in the end it doesn't play out quite the same way that it would in a K-drama. We do get proper K-drama scenes later, but shh, I'm not telling you that. You don't know that. Anyways, I was just laughing so hard during that introduction scene. It was so funny. And yeah, can you tell that I could go on and on and on about this movie? I really do love it a lot. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. So, what's the overall verdict so far? Well, I am obviously, as is anyone nowadays, very much in my own bubble. I do think I've explored quite a bit, and I did find a couple of gems, and there were definitely a couple extremely precious moments, but overall K-pop 2025 has so far just not been for me. I still had fun with K-pop in 2025, and that is because of the aspects I sought out myself. My prediction for the second half of the year is honestly that not a lot will change. As long as these trends that I don't like prevail, I just don't think I'll enjoy new releases beyond a couple of exceptions here and there. Obviously, now that I've put this out here, I hope I'll be proven wrong, but we'll see. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun. Tell me, how has 2025 been going for you? Any Song of the Year, Album of the Year contenders yet? Any favorite releases? I'd love to know, and I'll see you next time. Bye!